What's going on, guys? We are back with another RNG recruit interview. This time we got a commit with us. We have got a Miami Hurricanes commit in the 2024 class on the offensive line. This is a center who has a very, very high IQ, and his film is awesome to watch. He has been underrated this entire time, and I have a feeling that this film is going to be shared a lot more this offseason. He's going to start bringing him in a lot more offers, and especially what he's going to be doing this next season. So I'm really happy to bring him on here. I'm really happy to have him a part of the Canes class for the 2024 class, and he's going to come on and introduce himself right now.
How's it going? My name is Nino Francavilla. I'm from Toronto, Ontario, which is in Canada. I played my high school ball most recently at Cheshire Academy in Cheshire, Connecticut. I'm a center in the 2024 class, and I'm committed to Miami. Go Canes!
Love that, man. Love that. So I always like to start off with, what's your current height and weight?
Right now I'm 6'3" and a little bit, and 295.
Okay. Have you had your wingspan measured?
Yeah, I have a 6'6.5" wingspan.
Okay. And now this weight that you're at right now, is that your ideal playing weight?
I feel like I played my last high school season at 295, and I was moving well. Obviously, I could see myself playing college ball around 305, 310, just because guys are just bigger in college.
Understand? Yeah. So before this season started, you had your off-season focuses, things you wanted to work on. What was it that you really wanted to work on, and did you see it actually really show up on the field this season?
A big thing that I wanted to work on. I've always been kind of a strong dude, but I haven't necessarily been the most explosive person. So just working on my explosiveness, especially going all the way from my feet all the way up, just full body explosiveness. And I definitely realized that I had a big improvement in that during the season, just from when I would make contact with guys, I could really feel the pop.
Do you work with any trainers?
Not necessarily. We have a strength and conditioning guy at Cheshire that I work with, but when I'm back home and stuff, it's mostly just me.
I've had the chance to talk with some former Canes players, guys who played in the NFL from the offensive line. I always ask them about recruiting stuff, like, hey, what kind of things should I tell recruits for tips or that kind of stuff? And I was fortunate enough to have Eric Winston on one time, NFL offensive lineman for over a decade. He told me foot speed is one of the most important things that an offensive line recruit can have coming into college. How do you work on your foot speed?
There are a lot of drills that you can do, especially with like your pass set. If you can get a nice, clean, crisp pass set, you'll always be in a great position when you're throwing the ball, which is step number one. If you're not in a good position against the defender, you won't do well. And then in the run game, there are just a ton of drills that you can do with bands, resistance, extra movement, kind of like double steps, just to get that foot speed up. Ladder drills are a great one to get quicker feet.
What do you feel your biggest strengths are?
I would say my IQ. Playing center is a very cerebral position. You gotta get everyone in the right position. You're basically the quarterback for the offensive line, and I think that that's something that not only like the people I've played against, but my coaches and stuff would say is probably my biggest strength. Just being able to see the field and kind of read the defense.
So if you had to describe your game to somebody who's never seen your film before or never watched you play, how would you describe your game to them?
How would I describe my game? I would say I am a very physical, very tough, um, very intelligent, hard worker who moves people against their will from point A to point B. It doesn't always look pretty, but I get the job done.
I noticed you are a body mover. That's for damn sure. That is for damn sure. So in practice, just kind of curious, man. What's your favorite drill in practice?
My favorite drill in practice, I would probably say like an under the kind of cage Oklahoma drill.
Yeah.
So it works on staying low, gives you an actual human being to work against.
Mhm.
and it's kind of just a best on best. It's not very fancy, not very anything. It's you or me, like man on man, and that's a great drill that I love.
I like that. I like that. Mano y mano kind of thing.
Yeah,
Just that's that whole part of football, just banging head.
yeah.
So let's do a 180 on that. Let's just flip that completely around. What's the toughest drill that you feel you go through, or the hardest drill that you feel you go through in practice?
A tough drill that I would say we go through. Probably something like a pass set circuit. So kind of changing direction. It's not only hard to just kind of move laterally, but you also have to be in a great position, staying low. Your feet have to be quick. You got to stay balanced. So yeah, stuff like that, very reactionary stuff. Those are always tough drills because you can't really predict them. And if you try to predict them, you always end up wrong. So yeah, just something like that to do with pass setting or foot speed, really.
Gotcha. So, what gets Nino most excited on game day? What gets you just pumped up, man? What really gets you going out there?
This might sound like a basic answer, but just football. Like I just love playing football. So if it's game day, I'm already pumped up. I don't need any much more than that. If I know that there's a game, I'm automatically hyped up.
Dude, that's an awesome answer. I love that. It's just football. I mean,
Yeah.
that's awesome. I can roll with that, dude. Definitely. So, in your opinion, as you've watched and studied, some of the guys in the NFL and guys you look up to and stuff like that, what do you feel that it takes to make an elite center, mentally and physically? What are the traits that are needed?
I would say you definitely have to be very athletic because defensive tackles nowadays are just getting more and more kind of freakish.
Yeah.
So you have to kind of match that athleticism with them. Obviously, very smart. You have to be in the right position. Guys I look at are like Jason Kelsey and stuff like that because he's one of the best centers of all time and definitely the best center in the league right now.
Yep.
And you look at what he can do being somewhat undersized. It's almost magic what he does out there with just hand placement and his foot speed and his athleticism. He's really one of a kind, and that's a guy that I really try to model my game after.
And that I was going to ask you next. Guys who you do look up to. I can tell. Kelsey's definitely one of them. Is there any other players in college or pro that you really look up to try to maybe steal a little of their game to add to yours?
Yeah, I mean Jason Kelsey obviously number one when it comes off. Creed Humphrey, the center for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah.
He's a really good center. And then even the current center at Miami, Matt Lee.
Yeah.
He was a great addition to the offensive line this year, and he's kind of been someone that I've watched a lot of tape on, just to kind of understand how he's doing it with a team like Miami.
So how's this recruiting process? You committed to Miami. You were a Harvard commit for a little while. Miami was able to flip you there. The recruiting process, how have you enjoyed it?
I don't know if unless you're like a high ranking 5-star or something, I don't know if anyone really enjoys the recruiting process. It can be fun at sometimes, but it's very, very tedious. A lot of kids I know just kind of want to get it over, want to commit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it was tough at first, but now obviously being committed, I can kind of sit back and kind of just reflect on like the whole process and stuff. So I wouldn't say that I necessarily enjoyed it, but I enjoy where it's gotten me.
Can you just kind of give us a nice little history, just a summary of your background in football, how it started, where you came from, and kind of how you ended up at Miami?
Yeah. So I started playing football when I was about 8 years old. I was playing soccer originally, and then my parents kind of realized like, oh, you're a big 8-year-old, should probably get you in football. I started playing football, loved it right away, started playing at a high level. And then it was my high school coach my sophomore year that said that I should probably go down to the States and play there just because he saw the talent that I had. And then once I went down south, I won 3 consecutive New England championships. And then, yeah, I mean, I didn't have a lot of offers. I wasn't highly recruited. I had like Ivy League and FCS level offers. And then in the summer, I went down to a Miami camp. I performed. And then like 2 months later or a month later, they offered me and I committed within the week.
Awesome, man. Awesome. I love that story. Now, Coach Cristobal, of course, himself naturally being an offensive lineman coach, did that factor into your decision on this at all? Knowing that your head coach really is going to be focusing on that offensive line?
Yeah, I mean that's a key factor. Having a head coach who knows that the offensive line needs to be a priority,
Yeah.
can't be anything but a good thing. Because everything that they do is schemed around the offensive line and how the offensive line kind of performs. And then also not even with just Coach Cristobal, but Coach Mirabal, the offensive line coach. He's probably the best offensive line coach in the country. Just highly respected, great resume, and he was a big factor for my commitment as well.
And I was going to actually ask, kind of like, what is your relationship like with Mirabal, man? He's a ball of fire. That's all. I mean,
Yeah.
I just hear he is just a ball of fire, and he has got nothing but passion and heart, just 24/7.
Yeah. So he was actually in my house for an in-home visit the other day, and yeah, my parents just kind of got to experience that firsthand. That he's pedal to the metal the entire time. Everything that you hear is completely true, completely genuine guy. And yeah, that's kind of just who he is, and on and off the field.
I'm a big fan of Mirabal, me personally. I mean, just watching how fired up he was. I was watching his film even before he got over when we were hearing about, Cristobal coming to Miami and just watching what they were doing at Oregon and stuff. And I mean, just to see that guy out there surrounded by 6'7", 6'6" guys, but being in full control at, Mirabal's what, 5'3", 5'4", 5'5",
Yeah, probably
he's
in
not
and
a
around
big
there.
dude, but man, his voice, his actions, it carries through, and he's earned it. He's really earned it because he's proven that he can get guys in the NFL.
Yep.
I got 3 words for you, and I want to know what they mean to Nino. Miami Hurricanes football. What do those 3 words mean to Nino?
I mean, it's the Miami Hurricanes were in the early 2000s the scariest team ever. And I feel like a lot of people have kind of taken away that respect. And I know me, along with the other commits and the current guys on the team, want to get Miami Hurricanes football back to the spotlight, back to the glory, and make them a feared opponent again. So that's kind of what that means to me. Just making them a scary team to line up against.
I like that answer a lot, man. I like that answer. So at this point in the interview, what I like to do is I like to give recruits a chance to kind of show some love to people who've helped them out along the way. So anybody you want to give a shout out to, trainers, coaches, parents, anybody you want to show some love to, feel free to give them a shout out.
Yeah, obviously my mom and dad, like they're my 2 biggest supporters. My sister, she's probably 3rd on that list. They're a package duo or a trio, I guess. And then yeah, just the coaches I've had along the way. My coach at Chaminade, my coaches at Loomis, my coaches at Cheshire, like they've all helped me in different ways and stuff. So I'm forever grateful to those people.
So in regards to football in this offseason and stuff, what's next for you? What is your focus going to be?
Yeah, right now I'm just training on and off the field. Same thing, kind of working on my explosiveness, working on my strength, doing a lot of footwork drills, stuff like that. And I'm just ready to get down to Miami. I'll be early enrolling at Miami, so I'll get down there in January, which is not far at all.
Oh.
And yeah, I'm just excited to get down there and kind of work with the guys, work with the coaches. Yeah.
Curious, what are you going to be studying at the University of Miami?
So I will be taking health sciences, undeclared right now, but with a main focus in chiropractic work.
Nice.
Yep.
Cool. That's cool stuff right there, man. That's some cool stuff right there. So how can people find you on social media? Go ahead and plug your social media accounts.
Yeah, so I might have to check what my Instagram is actually.
Okay. No problem.
Yeah, so my Instagram is just my first name, last name. Very, very basic.
Okay.
And then my Twitter is the same thing. It's Nino Francavilla 1.
Okay.
So if you just Google my name, I'm sure all my socials and stuff will come up.
I noticed that when I put your name in, it all just popped right
Yeah.
up. Like, it's pretty easy. Yeah, your name definitely is unique enough, to have that stick out. So that works great. This is pretty much, the last question I got here for you tonight, and I just want to thank you again for taking the time, to jump on here and let Canes fans get a little more familiar with you and all that stuff. But this is the last question. It's the last question that I ask literally everybody that I ever bring on for interviews, players, coaches, ADs, recruits, commit. It doesn't matter. They all get the same last question, man.
Okay.
Why do you love the game of football? What makes you want to go out there and compete at such a high level on a weekly basis?
I don't know if I can say why I love football. Just that I love football. There's not really a why to why I love it. I don't know if it's some chemicals in my brain or something like that, but yeah, I eat, sleep, and breathe football. Every decision I've made since I was 8 years old has been centered around football. And yeah, I don't know if there's a why I love it, but I love it, and that's just really what it comes down to. I love competing. I love trying to excel in different areas, and I feel like football is the sport that you can do both those things in, and obviously do them at a high level.
That is the first answer I've gotten like that from that, and I love it, dude. Honestly, I love it, dude. It's like why? It's like why even, why do I have to love it? I love it because it's football. That's why I love it. And
Yeah.
dude, that's awesome, bro. Like, that's freaking awesome. I love that mentality. I'm so glad to have that mentality at the University of Miami, dude. That will put a smile on my face any day of the week. Well, Nino, man, thank you so much for taking the time to jump on here, man. I'll let you go on with your night. I know it's getting late over there on the East Coast. Let you go with your night. But, man, thanks again for jumping on here, dude. I definitely want to stay in contact with you, talk about, what you're working on, your recruitment, development, all that kind of stuff, in the future. So we'll stay in touch definitely. But have yourself a great night.
Yeah, thank you for having me on here. This was really fun.
Oh, I enjoyed having you on, man. It was a blast, dude.
Yeah.
I enjoyed having you on. Have yourself a great night, man. And we'll be talking soon.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you.
Alrighty, guys. That was the 2024 center commit at the University of Miami, Nino Francavilla. Harvard flip. Very intelligent. High IQ. But when you watch the film, this is more than IQ, guys. This is a literal mauler out there at center. He's more than just IQ. He's more than just smarts. This guy loves to put dudes into the ground, and centers don't often always get the chance to do that. But Nino, man, he's got that fire in him, man. He's just got that fire, and you see it on his tape. I love watching this film, and it was great to have him on here for an interview. Thank you guys for joining us for another RNG. This was a commit interview. Thank you for joining us for a commit interview, and we'll be coming back soon with a quarterback here very shortly. We'll talk to you guys soon. Have a great night.